was surprised by how many of you enjoyed the previous review of the Barbie and a Mermaid tale. And so, because I got such an overwhelming amount of feedback, and people kept saying that the sequel is somehow better, I decided to do a quick follow-up video reviewing the second movie. I actually didn't know there was a second movie. I don't know why it never was brought up during my searches, but we're here now. It's been 1 year since Maria came back to her underwater home, and she's doing what she does best, competing in another surf competition. And now the announcer makes a screen appearance? Do voice actors get paid more if they have on-screen appearance? But also, Kylie comes to steal Maria's thunder. And Maria proceeds to show how much cooler she is. It's almost like Kylie doesn't know she's the main character.
She might even have a shot at beating me. You mean the way I whooped you last week in La Jolla? I beat you the week before in Redondo.
There's a grand competition finale in Australia that they all gotta go to. She decides to mermaid herself to tell her mom that she's in the finals. Okay, I'm gonna guess now. Kylie is the daughter of Eris, from the last movie. The Evil Queen? I mean, it's just a hunch, but that's what I'm betting on. But before I continue, I want to give a super special thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile game for iOS and Android that bolsters an epic story with over 1 million active users. And you can use my link in the description to download Raid for yourself. With epic cinematic combat, it'll have you playing for hours. Not only that, but the story has some gorgeous illustrations. In Raid, orcs aren't always bad. My favorite is Kreela the Witch Arm. Created by Siroth, they have a good reason not to like those pesky humans. After fighting against the Bannerlords, High Elves, and Sacred Order, their lands were annexed and they were forced into a nomadic lifestyle. Now surviving is their biggest challenge. They found an ally with Eva of the Elves, who's actually joined them, but they aren't sure if they can trust her. Play the campaign if you want the full story. This month, Raid released an update for Doom Tower with 2 new bosses, Astronix, the Dark Fae, and Bomel, the Dreadhorde. And there's new enemy balance on tower floors, secret rooms, and new artifact sets. The whole month has a special event with brand new super raids that let you double your XP and rewards to speed up your progress, which is great for new players. Just click the link in the description or scan my QR code and you'll get the epic hero Chinoru, who is just fantastic for Doom Tower. You'll also get 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon a sweet champion as soon as you jump in. You just gotta click here to grab them. But it's only available for the next 30 days. The Queen shows Merlia that there's a special throne they gotta sit on so they can regain the power that makes special ocean magic called Marilia. Not to be confused with her name.
When it was all over, I had the power to make Marilia and give life to the sea. I wish you could have the honor, but the magic was so powerful, it transformed my tail forever, and you would be unable to use your legs again.
Yeah, it's a good thing we have a brand new character who may be able to take Merlia's place and permanently become a mermaid, and it also knock her out of the competition, guaranteeing her success. It's perfect! My master plan is... Oh, wait. Kylie isn't royalty. Unless she's the daughter of Eris! Problem is, the competition is on the same day as the ceremony, and Merlia definitely wants to go to the competition, because surfing is more important than running an underwater kingdom. Kylie proceeds to sabotage Merlia, which I don't understand why the judges don't disqualify her. Pretty bogus if you ask me. But even with a solid victory, you just can't beat star power. It's okay, they all still proceed to the next round.
And we'll be featuring it in our new ad campaign for Wavecrest Surf Gear. That is, if you're interested in being our new spokesperson.
Oh man, she got a sponsorship? That's pretty epic. I wouldn't know what that's like. Anyway, have you heard about Raid Shadow Legends? A sketchy fish sees that Kylie is getting walked all over. During the photo shoot, Merlia is told to take off her super special necklace that allows her to transform into a mermaid. Can't have competing brands in your pictures. Wait, forget about ranting about women's pants not having pockets. How do we get bikinis to have pockets? If I have a magical necklace, I want to know I'm not gonna lose it when I go swimming. I just implied that I wear bikinis. You know, I just might. The sketchy fish tells Kylie about Merlia's magic necklace and convinces her to steal it, saying it helps Merlia win tournaments somehow. Total surprise, she steals the necklace, who could have guessed? Kylie gets in the water and transforms into a mermaid. Creepy fish guy brings Kylie to a super familiar vortex that just so happens to have the Eris the Evil Queen, and she gets knocked inside, switching places with Eris. Okay, I guess she isn't the daughter of Eris. I know that was a stretch, but I was hoping. Anyway, Eris wants to be the one to sit on the throne so that she can have the super magical powers and be the sole resource of the underwater kingdom. My goodness, you know, that's really scary. They hold like all the power. It's like food for them. Luckily, little Seal saw the whole thing and is gonna go tell Merlia. Merlia goes down into the water. Remember, she can still breathe underwater, and I remind you of this because I totally forgot.
Tell me, which one of you is in charge?
I don't like intruders. You and your pet will turn back immediately.
I'm sorry, but did the big mean fish need to have a deep, succulent voice? I did not need to be aroused by a fish today. Eris shows off new magic that manifests people's greatest fears that she somehow got. I really hope this movie picks up the pace. We're halfway through and not much has happened. Merlia finds Kylie, grabs some vines to use as a rope, and swims inside to pull her out. Now Merlia is stuck. Now Kylie needs to save her. Merlia gets out eventually, don't worry, she's still the main character. Back at the special throne, they're gearing up for the big ceremony. Surprise! Eris shows up to crash the party. And Eris uses that new magic to make the queen unable to swim, which is apparently her greatest fear. Oh, what? Her daughter being in danger? Losing her kingdom? Her people being enslaved? That's all small stuff. Not being able to swim? Now that's scary.
Marilia is the life force of the sea. My mom, she's in trouble.
Don't you just love vague magic powers? Why bother explaining stuff when you can just not explain how magic works and add more random powers? It really makes writing a lot more convenient.
I'm sorry. I never should have gone to the invitational.
I'm sorry too. I should have realized how important your human life is to you too.
I really don't feel like you should be apologizing. Like, come on. Merlia should be a princess. It's just a competition. It only became important when she got a sponsorship and started getting paid for it. I mean, like, yes, it is important to her, but I feel like helping run an underwater kingdom is way more important. Merlia can't save her mom, so she decides she has to sit on the throne and lose her legs forever, and starts realizing what's really important. They start sneaking into the building. They only have until high noon before the throne's magic is passed on to the next royal family member. They wrestle up some huge honkin' fish and starts riding them to save the ambassadors. They start pushing their cage and manage to free themselves, so now they can help too. And while Merlia makes her way to the throne, the ambassadors help a little bit, so they actually helped. It's cool. And when Eris sees Merlia reaching the throne, we see that the big fish's big fear is to become a girl. Huh. Yeah, sorry, can't relate. And you remember that big fish with the succulent voice? He helps too. I didn't think he'd make a reappearance. And Merlia tries to get the power, but it doesn't work because she doesn't have a tail. So Kylie gives back her necklace, she transforms, deflects Eris's own magic at her, and succeeds in getting all that sweet, sweet ocean magic. Remember, Kylie now cannot breathe underwater because she's not a mermaid or a mermaid hybrid, but she is Australian. So I would imagine they would have hybrids in Australia. I was trying to reference an old Toyota commercial where they just push a car up a hill and it says hybrid. And it's very funny, and every time I hear the word hybrid, I think of that commercial, but for the love of me, I cannot find it. So just, if you know what I'm talking about, thank you. While watching this movie, hold your breath for as long as Kylie would have to and see if you survive. Don't worry, she doesn't die, and Merlia doesn't need her necklace since she's permanently a mermaid now. And we find out that Eris's big fear was being a human. Yeah, I can see that. It really makes my theory of Kylie being her long-lost daughter really stupid.
I guess I won't be able to surf anymore. I guess you'll be the one winning the invitational. It wouldn't be right. I chose to give up my legs. But that means it's even more important for you to go out there and surf.
I think what they should be concerned about is how Merlia is going to get the sponsorship money now that she's a mermaid. You can't sell swim gear to people who already know how to swim. Speaking of which, have you heard of Raid?
Wish I could still change back so I could show it to Kylie.
Again, vague magic powers is super convenient.
It did transform you into your fullest self. Your fullest self is both a mermaid and a human.
Oh, okay. So this one gets an explanation. Sure. And now they can compete in the surfing competition, but this time as friends. And Merlia basically just lets Kylie win because she's too stunned at how she can make Merlia. Now, Kylie is getting the recognition she deserves. I'm glad Merlia finally learned that being a princess is more important than surfing. But if I'm gonna be honest, this movie wasn't as good as the first one, like I've seen in a bunch of comments. Half of the movie is dedicated to Merlia and Kylie's rivalry, when really that should only take up like a quarter of the movie, because the plot really only starts after that's established. Not only that, but the movie kind of retreads the same lesson as the first movie. She just relearned the same lesson. Merlia didn't want to be a princess, but now she is, well, I mean, like, it's slightly different. It's got a little bit of a twist to it, but still, at its core, it's kind of the same. Having Eris come back wasn't bad, but if Merlia could get out of the whirlpool, you know, the whirlpool that's supposed to be so strong that people can't get out easily, what's even the point of adding it? I feel like there is no doubt in my mind that Eris would have been able to get out of there way before a whole year if all they needed was some rope that could break easily too. So like, is it really that strong? I'm kind of baffled at how people are just okay with this. Now, I don't think the movie's really bad, but I mean, if you ask me, it's not better than the first one. If it were up to me, I would have had Merlia be so eager to win that she abuses her vague magic princess powers in order to, you know, sabotage her opponent, and then the lesson would be having to learn to be a proper princess, not so much having to learn to be a princess and accept her duties again, but to properly execute on those duties. And honestly, I wouldn't, if I were in charge of this, I wouldn't even have added Eris back. I would have had Kylie be the new villain, because that's how it really seemed like how it was going. I did like how Kylie ended up being friends with Merlia in the very end, but still, I mean, like, she could have just been the villain. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks again to our sponsor for this video. Thanks again for the sponsor of this video. Check the links in the description. Stay beautiful and keep playing.